This episode of Vibrant Living is brought to you by Link Transit. Take that first step. Learn how to ride. And AARP Washington, working with local and statewide organizations to protect Wenatchee area consumers from scams and fraud.
Everybody, I'm Dee Clarke with the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. I manage our travel program amongst other duties, and I'm here today with Audree Scott. Audree is a longtime member and she travels with us often. Yes. Hello, Audree.
Hi,
nice
Dee.
to see you.
Good to see you again. It's been a long time.
It has.
With the breakdown.
It has. So can you tell us about some of the trips that you've taken with the Senior Center?
Yes. First, I'd like to mention trips that I took with my husband before he passed away, all local. Those were like to Seattle, to the aquarium, to the dam up in the Methow. There was a farm place. I don't think they were Mennonites.
Oh, right. Yeah, over at Soap Lake.
Right, and
yes.
The glass factory.
Yes.
Pike's Market.
Yep.
There was another one that we went to at night that was like in a tennis or a tent, circus tent type thing.
Yeah.
With a dinner. I can't remember the name.
Oh, Tetros in Zanny.
Yes.
Yes. Wasn't that fun?
Yes. The big trips, the first one was, I believe, in 2017.
Yes.
And that was to the Rhine River.
Yes.
On the Viking longboat Altuna.
Yes.
And that was so much fun.
Right.
We had so much fun with the crew and the entertainer, guide.
Yes, our program director on that cruise, his name was Nick. He was a hoot, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. He met us with horns on his head and wooden shoes and...
Right. And long blonde braids. Depending on the city we stopped in, his costume changed.
Yes.
One day when we woke up and we were in Strasbourg, France, that's where the storks were summer there.
Yes.
And he had a stork on his head.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was such beautiful country.
Yes.
Oh, it was so, the river and, we saw a lot of castles.
Yes, a lot of castles, yes.
And good ones. I mean, they were very, very old, but interesting things in them. And my special thing, since I lost a brother in the Second World War and is buried in France, we got to go on a tour to the monument of the Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
We went to the place where Audie Murphy held off the Germans and saved a village.
Right. That was in Colmar, correct?
Yes.
Colmar, France.
Yeah. And what was the other? There was another, and going into Strasbourg. That was where I lost my brother, was almost toward the end of the war. But I got to see those things, and something about the people on the boat. I had tried to go to Lorraine, France, to my brother's grave.
Right.
They would not let me go.
Right.
They said it was because things that were happening in France, that me being alone, I could not rent a car to go. It would be 2 or 3 hours. And they just absolutely would not let me go.
Correct.
And but they did help me by being able to send flowers, which cost which was going to cost me $98 U.S. money.
Yeah.
But when I took my bill up at the end and wanted to pay it. It wasn't on my bill. And I asked the guy at the desk, how I need to pay for those flowers. And he took hold of my hand and he says, "No, ma'am, we did it."
Wasn't that so special of them?
Well, I almost cried.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
But it was a beautiful trip.
Yeah.
And I would advise anybody who likes to travel with you and Norma Jean anywhere they would want to go.
Oh, well, thank you. We do have fun, don't we?
The other big highlight of Scotland was in Edinburgh when we went to the castle and saw the tattoo.
Oh, yes. Everybody mentions seeing the Royal Edinburgh Royal Military Tattoo. I think it has a really long name. I think it's something
and
like
it's
that,
military because
yes.
Military from all over the world was there,
right.
in their kilts and with the their music, with the drums and the pipes. To me, every one of them was different. The way they marched in and did their little deals, and they all blended. They went this way and that way and this way, but they always ended up back where they were supposed to be. But the highlight to me was toward the end when big blowing of horns, and out comes from this end is this man with a turban on this beautiful horse with all his leather has gold all over it, and on each side of him is a guard on a horse, and it was the Omar of Benai. Mm-hmm. I think that's how you pronounce it. And behind him there were women on these horses with the drums.
Yes.
In their laps as they're riding the horses.
Yes.
And behind them are more men on these beautiful horses blowing the pipes. It was, and those horses were just absolutely gorgeous. Of course, I'm a horse person. But it was above and beyond anything that I'd ever seen anywhere, I think, because they treated him like royalty. One of the things in Sweden is when we got to see that huge ship.
Yeah, the Vasa.
Yes.
The Vasa.
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting story about that ship.
And it was so huge.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Well, thanks again for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Your mortgage account has been flagged by our department for the new Streamline Modification Initiative. This new program can lower your interest rate and cut your mortgage payments in half. Press 1 to connect my call, or press 3 to decline this offer. Press 1 now to find out more information on what can be done for you. Press 1 now.
Hi, I'm Detective Kirk Drolet with the Wenatchee Police Department. You just heard an audio clip of an actual scam call. A call involving mortgages. This is one of the top 5 here in the Wenatchee area, targeting seniors. If you got a call like this, I hope you didn't give them any information. If you get a call like this, hang up on them, give us a call. We'll get some information from you to try to prosecute these guys. I'd like to thank AARP Washington for the funding to make this possible.
Dave Tosch, Executive Director, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Today I'm with Taylor Sharp. And Taylor is a new Executive Director in the Valley with the Humane Society.
Correct.
And there's a lot going on here. I mean, you came at an interesting time. You got a brand new clinic. And we're going to talk about that, but right now we're kind of talking to seniors, and maybe you could just talk a little bit about what kinds of services you can offer some of the seniors that are unique to seniors, and some of the services that you're providing.
Absolutely. One of the things I think is most important to talk about is volunteering both at the shelter, so being able to come in, help, socialize, move things, help with adoptions, whatever that might be, and volunteering from home, which looks like fostering an animal for us. We have a lot of animals. Would love to get some help with that. That's one of the big pieces.
And so I know that we already have some things in common. We have some of the same volunteers that
Yes, we do.
serve the senior center and your organization, which is nice. So I know that as we reopen the senior center, we're going to be looking for some of the same people, but that's okay, because one of our purposes with the program is to promote other nonprofits and what they're doing for the community and the seniors. So we're standing right now in the new clinic. Well, I call it new. It's been newly remodeled. Right?
Yes.
So tell us a little more.
So this used to be Club Pet, and now it is this gorgeous, truly state-of-the-art clinic. My background has been in sheltering for the last 15 plus years, and I've been afforded the opportunity to go to over 200 shelters, and a lot of them had clinics, and I can truly say this is the most beautiful, well done, well-equipped clinic that I have ever been to. So it's this gorgeous facility where we have the capacity to not only help the shelter animals, get them spayed and neutered, vaccinated, those types of things, and also some increased services. So if we had a dog who came in with a broken leg, we were able to cast up and then amputate that leg, which was really exciting and not always possible in a shelter. But we can do that for ourselves, and now we're able to offer some services to income qualified public members as well. So if they meet that income qualification, we're able to offer spay-neuter services that comes along with microchipping, vaccination, those types of things. And it's our way of trying to support the community and really make sure that we are helping the public and providing services that are necessary at an affordable price.
So somebody's interested in learning more about it. How do they contact your organization?
You can contact us via our website, the WenatcheeHumane.org, or by phone. And I'm so new that I don't have that number memorized yet.
Well, we're kind of putting Taylor on the spot here a little bit. She's been the executive director for a month. She's still getting her feet on the ground. I know how that goes because I've been through something very similar.
I appreciate that.
And so we will make sure we get that information posted. But
thank you.
In the meantime, you have quite a background. And could you talk to us a little bit about your experiences and why you think you're here?
Yeah. Why I am here. It's a long story, but I started in the animal welfare, animal sheltering world back when I was in Nebraska, where I grew up. And I noticed a lot of really regressive policies in what we were able to do for animals and how we treated them. And so I started as a kennel tech. And what that meant was I was basically having to euthanize a lot of animals, and it made me really sad. And so I've taken that throughout the entirety of my career and used that inspiration to push better policies, life-saving policies at over 200 shelters. I have worked at shelters in 5 different states, but Washington State is home. I have been here for 5 years. I started what's called the Pet Alliance of Washington, which is a group of shelters and organizations in the state of Washington that bring really impressive ideas together, and we resource share and we create life-saving efficiencies. And that is actually how I got involved with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. So 6 years ago, we started that organization and brought Wenatchee Valley Humane Society on board because they were doing great things. We wanted to make sure that their opinions were heard and we could learn from them. And I have been an admirer ever since, really appreciated the things they do. The behavior program that they're able to do with dogs is incredible. The cat enrichment that they're able to do is wonderful. And now this community service piece is beautiful. So when this opportunity became available, I jumped. It was not a slow, gradual reach out. It was a jump.
Understand. So what are some of your current challenges that you're facing right now? I think you mentioned something about there's a large number of cats you're trying to find homes for.
We are in what's called kitten season. And yes, that's a real thing. So kitten season is the time of year where all of the kittens are born, and we just get a giant influx of kittens and cats that come to us. And we want to help as many as possible, but we do face some limitations on just how many we can help because our shelter isn't, absolutely giant. So that's where fostering comes into place, of we take these kittens that aren't quite ready to find their homes yet, and we place them with foster families who are able to give them some love, medication if they need it, a little bit of socializing with humans to make sure everything's good. Then when they become of age, we take them in, we spay and neuter them, and find them homes. But it's a much quicker time in the shelter. And our fosters are true life-saving heroes, because those cats wouldn't be able to hang out in our shelter that whole time. We wouldn't be able to do this without them. So that is wonderful. The other piece of that is TNR, which stands for Trap, Neuter, Return. And that's for our outdoor cats. Cats that, we call them community cats. Cats that may not necessarily have a known owner, or they're smart and they have multiple people tricked into thinking that they are their families. We have a lot of cats who get fed at multiple locations. And what we are able to do is bring those cats in a humane trap, give them vaccinations they need to stay healthy, and then spay and neuter them and return them back to their outdoor home, which manages that population, makes sure that they have enough resources for themselves, and creates a much healthier cat because they have received that medical treatment. So that's one piece that we're also utilizing to tackle. And that is also open to the public. We ask for a $10 donation per cat, but again, if you can't afford that, we are more than happy to work with you.
And I would imagine you're always seeking foster families, is that correct?
Always.
Yeah.
Always seeking foster families. Anyone that is even interested, we're more than happy to talk to them about it. And fostering can be as small of a commitment as just a couple of nights, if that's what you're open to, or it can be a longer term. We'd like to take in kittens who need bottles. There's a full spectrum of foster families that we need, and we would love anyone and everyone that's interested in that to reach out to us.
Okay. So I understand you have a pet food pantry, and people can come here and get some good, nutritious food for their pets.
Yes.
Tell us a little more.
So our pet food pantry is community supported, and it's given back to the community. We collect food that we then redistribute to income qualified individuals. We know that everyone wants to make sure their pets are fed, and sometimes money's tight, so we want to be able to provide an outlet for that. So we have dog food, cat food, and sometimes other various supplies that we are more than happy to give. It's on Saturdays once a month, beginning at 10 a.m.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, Taylor.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, Dave.
Today I'm with Randy and Sheila Ogol, two of our members. Actually, they were members before they even retired. Randy retired from the PUD, I think, about 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. And so they are natives of the Valley, and I know that because Sheila and I went to school together, all the way through Kashmir schools, and then wound up over in Cheney and graduated on the same day from Cheney. So yeah. We've kind of crossed paths a little bit over the past. So anyway, Sheila has done a lot of things in our community over the period of time they've lived here, and of course I mentioned Randy retired from the PUD. Yep. And so I recognized them right off the bat when they showed up for lunch one day, I think it was, when we ran into each other, and they've been helping us here quite often with the volunteering for the thrift store, supporting the thrift store in a number of different ways. But anyway, you know what, I guess the question I would ask is, what brought you to the senior center to begin with? You were some of our younger seniors, I'll say that. You may not feel that way, but
that feels good.
But so what caused you to want to come out and check us out?
Well, we had some friends that were going on a tour that the senior center had, and it was over on the Snake River, up Hell's Canyon on a boat ride, and
we'd never been there before.
Never been there before, and they said it sounded like fun, so we signed up and went, and that was our first experience with the senior center.
Yeah, that's true. But the reason we were so excited about joining the senior center is you actually got money discounted off of your trip if you were a member. So it was cost effective, right?
Oh yeah.
But then we were hooked.
Yeah. And from there, after I retired, we came to lunch on occasion.
Great food.
Good food. All nice. And then we were asked to do a couple of things, and we did. And
Our arm was twisted.
then, yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of hanging, kind of limp. And so then we volunteered to do some stuff at the thrift shop,
Landscaping.
and here we are now doing an interview.
Yeah. Well, you guys have been out here at least once a week during this time that we're closed, and I will say that we've all been vaccinated, and I think we feel pretty good about that. But the thrift store is operating, and we still need a lot of help on the part of volunteers, and we really appreciate what you folks are doing for us. And I knew that. I knew their talents because, again, I remember back to what they were enjoying as younger people back in the day, like 4-H.
Kashmir's small town.
Yeah, like the 4-H group and things like that, which you learn quite a bit through that. Anyhow, you've been a big help, and we truly appreciate that kind of help. I noticed also at lunch, the thing I remembered about you guys is you don't sit in the same spot.
Nope.
And that's a little unusual around here. Most people have their chair where that they claim, or their place,
Their table.
And what I really admired about you guys is that you move around and visit with different people. And of course, you're from the valley. You probably recognized a lot of different people anyway. So
We recognized a few people, but most of the time we didn't know who we were sitting next to.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's how you get to know people.
and I think that's a really good way to go, because you never know who you might run into and what kind of things you have in common. Now, you've been in the community for a long time. I know you were involved in the local square dancing group.
Yes.
In fact, you were out here when we had a square dancing group, and I think helped out with that. You want to talk a little bit about some of your experiences with that?
Well, I remember very distinctly there was a Follies or something that the senior center put on, and we were asked to do the jitterbug, and it was something that we had never done before. And
Yeah, that's not a part of square dancing.
that's not a part of So anyway, we asked one of our square dance friends, and
Who was the dance
who was the
instructor?
dancer, and she knew how and all that. So she gave us some instructions, and we came out to do the rehearsal. And I remember back then I was able to sling Sheila on my side and then on my other side, and then have her feet straight up in the air. And
Those were the days.
those were the days, And she came down from that one deal, and she goes, "I think I touched the ceiling." And the person that was running the show went,
That's impossible.
"You couldn't have done that." So we did it again, and she put her foot through the ceiling, and as far
Is that
as I
hole
know,
still there?
as far as I know,
Is
the ceiling is still bent there. That suspended
part?
ceiling metal part is still bent.
I think I just found something else for you to do. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It was
right.
fun.